Welcome friends. Today in the kitchen we are going to make tonic water. And I know that as soon as I said tonic water, there's probably already people writing comments down below about how dangerous this is. And you know what? They're probably right. It is a fairly, not necessarily dangerous, but it is fraught with difficulties. And one of the reasons that this could be construed as a very dangerous thing to make is that the main ingredient is cinchona bark. And cinchona bark contains quinine. And too much quinine for certain people will cause problems. Too much quinine for people who are on certain drugs will cause interactions that are problematic. And when you buy commercial tonic water in the grocery store or at the corner store or at the liquor store, it's carefully measured how much quinine is in that beverage, well below the safe levels, enough to give you the flavor that you're looking for and the bitterness that you're looking for, but well within what is considered safe. The problem with making it at home is you have no clue how much quinine is actually contained in the bark. For the most part, you're not going to get a document saying certain percentages in here. So you need to be careful that you don't use too much. And a lot of the recipes or formulas that I looked at had a lot of cinchona bark in them, which gave you a lot of quinine in the end beverage, which could be a problem. So I'm trying to be very safe with the amount of cinchona bark I'm using. I'm using chopped cinchona bark, don't use powdered, and I sifted out all of the powder to make sure that there's none of that fine powder in there, because that fine powder will allow you to extract too much quinine. So, very small amount of cinchona bark. In order to make sure that we have enough bitterness, the next thing I'm using is gentian root. Now, gentian root is incredibly bitter, so the amount of bitterness that I'm going to get out of the gentian root will make up for some of the cinchona bark that I'm not using in order to kind of stay in the safe side. So I'm going to put that in. So I've got 750 mils of water in here. I've got the barks in. I've got it on kind of a medium-high heat. I want to bring this up to a boil. If you were only making bog standard tonic water, we would stop at those ingredients. Actually, no. We'd add some citric acid and some salt. Bring this up to a boil, cover it, let it boil for 8 to 10 minutes, and then we would move on to the part where we strain it out and we add the sugar. But I'm not going to make bog standard tonic water, because one of the great things about making this is when you make it at home, you can tailor it to your own taste and you can start to add other things to round out the flavor. And part of this rounding out the flavor also allows you to match it to your favorite gin, so that when you mix the two together, you get an amazing cocktail. And I've had the great privilege of sitting down a few times with one of the major gin distillers and go through this process of making our own tonic to match their gin. And of course, they do it with extracts so that you can quickly make 5 or 6 different ones over the course of an hour and a half or 2 hours. So you've got all of the extracts like orange peel and lemon and that sort of thing. I'm going to make it right from scratch. I'm going to use some of the components that I really like from those experiments, and we're going to make it here and we're going to see what happens. So, next in, I've got cardamom, allspice, black pepper. And these are whole. I didn't crush them or crack them or break them or anything. I'm just putting them in because they're going to boil and they're going to steep and we're going to get the flavor out of them. Next in is some chopped lemongrass. We have lime peel, lemon peel, and orange peel. So as this comes up to a boil, I'm going to put a lid on it, and I'm just going to leave the lid cracked a little bit so some steam can escape, and we're going to let that go 8 to 10 minutes. Smells great in here. Absolutely fantastic. So I'm going to take this off the heat and I'm going to strain out the big bits. Now, depending on how fine your strainer is and if you have any small floaty bits, you may want to put this through a coffee filter. If you don't have any little floaty bits or fine particulate, which I don't think I do, you might not, but I think I might do it just in case. Okay, so I'm glad I took the time to put it through a coffee filter because it really did trap a lot of really fine particulate matter. So, liquid back into the pot. And now we need to dissolve this sugar into that liquid. Let's give it a taste first. Oh, it's perfect. It's perfect. Okay, so the sugar in, I've got the heat on. That is the maximum amount of sugar that that liquid will take. We're going to bring this up to the point where it is fully dissolved. We're going to keep stirring it until it is fully dissolved. And then I'm going to pour it off, let it cool, and then we'll come back for tasting.
So, Glenn, you have been talking about this for a while. You finally made it.
Tonic.
Yes.
Let's give it a go. There's a round flavor there.
It's got the tart, the bite that I like about tonic.
Yeah.
But it's got another flavor in there that I'm not used to in tonic, and
So
I don't know what that is.
Yeah, so instead of just doing the quinine bite or that really tart over-the-top bitter that it usually is, I rounded it out with a bunch of other flavors.
Okay.
And I think that I haven't quite got the ratio yet of syrup.
How much?
Yeah, I think it could stand a little bit more syrup.
And it's super syrupy.
It is very
versus
syrupy.
a lot of the other beverages we made.
Yeah. Now, I know at the beginning I said don't go overboard with the cinchona bark because quinine is dangerous, but of course you can play with the mixture at what you want. You could definitely bump it up. You could definitely put in some of the other bittering agents that I used. Right, so the gentian root certainly would add to that. So you could add more, and I think this is something that you can play with and you find your own balance of what you're looking for.
That's the best thing about making anything yourself.
Right, so you play with this tonic so that it suits whatever gin that you want to drink it with. And if you've got a favorite gin, then you start to add in those flavors that are in the gin or complementary flavors to the gin. I think this is quite nice. I think I could actually drink this more than I could drink a can of tonic water.
I like both.
So I'm going to use this in the cocktail series that I'm hoping to shoot towards the end of September, beginning of October. They'll start to show up on Friday nights. So I guess the first one that we'll do will be a gin and tonic. Thanks for stopping by. See you again soon.
Cheers, Glenn.
Cheers, Jules.